It's one thing to have a bright idea and another to create a thriving business.
Now, student innovators have the chance to turn their dreams into a reality. Student entrepreneurs will pitch their ideas to a panel of experts for a chance to win funding. From tech startups to socially conscious ventures,
The time for affordable therapy is now.
these students are ready to impress with their vision.
But only one
Will walk away with the money to kickstart their venture.
Join me as we uncover the next generation of trailblazers. This is Seed Money. Welcome to the heart of innovation, set among the historic beauty of UNC Chapel Hill. As an alum and entrepreneur myself, I actually came up with my business, Eats to Seats, right here on campus. And today, we have a team of over 5,000. So I know a little bit about building a business from the ground up. Today, we're here to witness something truly special. We're on the brink of discovering the next wave of groundbreaking innovations, the kind that redefine industries and change lives. There are so many ways to improve everyday life. The teams have each created innovative solutions to the world around us in meaningful and intuitive ways. Let's meet the teams.
I'm Leah Gallant, and I'm the founder of Clinical Partner. I am from Idaho originally. UNC was the only school that I wanted to go to because it allowed for me to get a degree in psychology while also pursuing business and innovation. In addition to psychology, what I'm really passionate about is designing and developing concepts and businesses, and that was something that Carolina really encouraged and has allowed me to do. Before I came to Carolina, I worked in the Bay Area for many years. I got the startup bug. I had some friends who were starting up businesses and I was able to collaborate with them. So I have a very full life outside of research and work. I have 2 children who are 6 and 8. They keep me on my toes. We do a lot of skiing and hockey practice. My husband is also an entrepreneur. He has a Spanish food company and that also keeps us busy. I am the type of person where if I weren't doing this, I would be training for a marathon or opening a Pilates studio. I just have one of those brains that has to be working 16 hours a day. My name is Leah, and I'm the founder of Clinical Partner, your future, your way.
I'm Hunter Coaching, I'm Wrote the Money, and we are Shop Dive. We're actually both from Charlotte, different parts of Charlotte. I'm actually a year younger than Rohit. We actually met through this project. He was working on it before me, and they were just trying to start to build things out, and then eventually it came to be where we ended up meeting because of it. And kind of as things went along, everyone else kind of fell by the wayside, and we were the only ones who really, I guess, were crazy enough to stick with it.
We're both in the computer science program, but I think the design part and the interest in product and design, I think that's something I've had for a while.
For me, technology and entrepreneurship has always been something that I've been very passionate about. You know, whether it was trying to make t-shirts in high school or trying to start random businesses here and there, we disagree on everything. But I think we have a really good system. You know, Rohit comes in with really design-oriented, more artistic, I guess, style. And I come in with just kind of business and logic. And then we just kind of butt heads until one of us eventually kind of owns up and says we were wrong.
It's not that, we have a good system for holding each other accountable, for the work we do, but then also the ideas that we bring in. And then we have a good system for how do you prove that you're right? So.
Yeah. I think we just believe in ourselves. We've been through so many ups and downs, different product ideas, growing, shrinking teams, and we've just been, I think, extremely resilient in what we want. And that's honestly, I think, the reason that we will be successful in the future is because we will stay resilient no matter what. I'm Hunter.
I'm Rod.
And we're Shop Dive.
A smart way to shop skincare.
I'm Phil.
And I'm Daniel, and we are Cubicle.
I'm originally from Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm currently a sophomore studying computer science, so I love working with computers. I'm actually doing a concentration related to artificial intelligence. But outside of school, I love to go to the gym, love to go outside, watch a lot of movies like everybody else, and overall just have fun.
I was born in Columbia, South Carolina. I'm the type of person that loves meeting new people. One thing that not many people really know about me is that I play Ultimate Frisbee competitively. That's a really big passion of mine. I went to nationals with my team, and I'm really immersed in the sport.
We actually met in high school. We both went to the same high school in Charlotte.
I think that Philip is a super driven person. I think that's one thing that really sets him apart. Philip is somebody that is willing to learn anything at any given cost, and he's super driven to get things done.
Yeah, likewise. I saw Daniel was super talented. I pretty much immediately thought we should do something together.
For us to win the competition, it would definitely mean a lot, and overall, it would make Cubicle an even bigger success.
Hi, I'm Phil.
And I'm Daniel.
And we're Cubicle.
So happy to have all of you here. Now let's meet our judges. All right, so we have Scott Maitland, the founder of Top of the Hill, the most famous restaurant in Best View of Franklin in Chapel Hill. We got Bernard Bell, Executive Director of the Shuford Entrepreneurship Program and everyone's favorite professor. Our guest judge, Whitwick Pavon, COO of Fragile, a serial entrepreneur and a UNC grad himself. Now let's go over the criteria for judging. Overall idea, is it innovative? Is it disruptive? Is it sustainable? Presentation, can you sell? Are we hooked? And of course, impact. What kind of impact will your innovation have on users and consumers? Let's send ShopDot and Cubicle back to the holding room, and we'll keep Leah out here with Clinical Partner. Leading up to today's pitch, you had the opportunity to workshop your idea with Whitwick. Let's take a peek.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Whitwick.
you.
So tell me a little bit about what you're working on.
I am working on a company called Clinical Partner. It's a large language model for psychological evaluations. It's pretty complex, like it's neuroscience, and it's not super fun and like attention getting to talk about. There's a lot of granular information, and I'm trying to figure out how do I make that accessible and communicate it without boring an audience.
Sure. I mean, in an ideal situation, if you're pitching to the investor or customer that is investing in this specific segment, you want to do whatever you can so they immediately understand it. So you want to present about like what especially makes you stand out. Why are you the person qualified to do this? In terms of boring, I would say that there are several life science, health-related investors that probably find this very exciting. There's a inflection point today between the medical world and also technology with AI that's allowing for people to build products that can truly save lives. So definitely, drill in on those pointers so that whoever the audience is understands it.
Thank you. That's really helpful.
This sounds like a really exciting idea. I'd love to learn more about it, and I'm excited to see your full pitch. I think it definitely has potential.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Leah Gallant, and as I mentioned, I'm the founder of Clinical Partner. I am so excited to be here with you, share a few words about my company and how you can join us on our journey. Clinical Partner provides digital psychological assessments, and our mission is to provide faster and more accurate results so that patients can begin personalized care and treatment sooner. The problem is that the majority of providers are booked. They have very long wait lists, and many of their services are cost prohibitive. And this is a problem because a psychological evaluation is the first step in a treatment plan. The inability to take this first step means that downstream treatments can't be accessed. We have many competitors in this space who are well-funded and well-established, but they're narrow and focused, and we have a solution. We will create a large language model that will help providers administer clean, simple, and streamlined evaluations. This is going to be an unlock in the healthcare industry, and here's why. Among the different disciplines in healthcare, psychological evaluations are one of the best situated to become an LLM. They're highly formulaic and repetitive. They use established norms and data that have been vetted and tested, and the output is consistent in the form of either a report or a medical note. This will allow providers to see more patients. This will reduce long wait lists, and this will allow patients to begin personalized care and treatment plans sooner. And with that, I welcome your feedback and questions.
So Lee, I've got a question. So now what's your background?
I'm a PhD candidate here at UNC in psychology. I've been specializing in neuroscience and neuropsychology. I've been working with patients in clinic for many years and have seen firsthand the backlog in patients' inability to access care and then downstream treatments.
How do you update or how do you input the patient's responses into your system so it can be evaluated?
What I'm trying to do is connect what I've already scored online with a certain type of program, add a plugin to that where those metadata can be pulled into another document and then aggregated so that I have all the data from all the exercises. And that's really the part that's missing, is being able to take each individual component and aggregate it into a large report that can then be sent out much faster than it is currently happening.
The physician or clinician that this person is seeing is already generating those reports, and you're your advantage is you're aggregating them quickly.
We're aggregating them quickly, and then here's a little known fact. To administer a psychological evaluation, it doesn't necessarily need to be a PhD psychologist. It can be someone who's called a psychological technician or a psychometrist. And if we expand those providers, then someone who's like me who has a PhD, where my busy week, I see 6 patients, now I'm able to see 12 to 15, and then I'm signing off on those reports and they're starting physical therapy sooner, occupational therapy. All of that's happening faster.
With LLMs that you plan to integrate, especially when you're dealing with patients, there can be a lot of concerns around using something that might not be 100% correct. How do you ensure that there aren't any, issues that occur because of, speed?
We will take really a practice model, a beta test, and compare it to a full-on test that a neuropsych is doing, and compare those to make sure that they're accurate and that they're consistent among different trials.
Leah, how would you use the seed money in order to accomplish your goals?
I would build an MVP and I'd start beta testing. And I feel really confident that with my fluency and proficiency in this domain space, that I could assist in the development of an MVP very quickly.
Leah, so this is great. I mean, the fact that you have background in this as a clinical technician, PhD student, I think it lends a lot of credibility to the idea. Nice job. Nice job.
Thank you so much, Leah. That was incredible. All right, we're gonna bring out ShopDot for our next pitch. Welcome, guys. Before we get started, let's take a look at your time that you spent with Ritwick.
We're ShopDot, a
Smarter way
website.
to shop skincare.
A smarter way to shop skincare.
Tell me a little bit about the presentation. How are you planning on presenting this?
We don't really look like guys that are typical of, in the skincare industry. Sure. So we really kind of want to establish why we're taking on this challenge, and then tell our story, describe the product, where we're trying to go, and then tie it up with the business aspect. What elements of our business do you think we should talk about in our pitch?
Talk about the team. I mean, tell me your story about how you both met. In my head, I'm curious about, what got you both thinking about skincare as the primary, focal point. There's a million other things you could have done and you chose skincare. So I think it'd be very valuable for you to share that in the beginning.
We have, our defenses ready. So if somebody asks us about competition, but it's not actually within our pitch.
Try to share, everything that you've built. And then if there's time, feel free to throw in and show that you have done research on this. What does the potential market share of something like this look like? At the end of the day, investors look for a 10x return. If you are able to show that this X billion amount is untapped, and we believe that in the next 10 years or next 5 years, we can capture a significant portion of that market share. Now I'm a lot more convinced to invest in your startup. But from the time that you have to pitch, I would just say focus on the product that you've built, because you guys are very far along with the actual product.
Thank you so much for that insight. Do you feel ready?
I feel ready. I think we'll take this feedback and
We'll make
for the full pitch.
We'll make our small changes, and then hopefully you'll be ready to hear our whole pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you guys are going to crush it.
About a year and a half ago, Rohit and I went on a journey to try to find the right sunscreen for us. And if you haven't done that anytime recently, you would not believe how complicated it gets. Rohit and I spent hours in the chaos of the internet trying to find the information that would benefit us. We listened to influencers who were sponsored, tried to sell us shady products. We read ingredients on the back of the bottle to see if they would actually work for our skin. And we even read reviews that totally conflicted each other and never gave us a general consensus as to what the product actually looked like. We went through all of this just to buy a product that we thought was right for us. And when it arrived at our doorstep, we were gravely disappointed with what the product actually was.
That's why we created ShopDot, the smart way to shop for sunscreens and skincare online. ShopDot is backed by millions of real, verified reviews, and our analysis on skincare enthusiasts and expert takes, and then our own deep dive into product ingredients. Our goal is to help you shop smart. That means knowing exactly how that product's gonna affect your skin before you hit the buy button. The two of us have spent hundreds of hours working with consumers, creators, and even brands to understand intricacies, complexities in the space, and design ShopDot to be robust, yet simple, and even fun to use.
Our website breaks products down into categories and qualities that we know our consumers care about. And we give them a rating from 0 to 99 with what we call a DOT score. The DOT score is based off of an algorithm that we built based off of all this information we've gathered. So for example, if you're like me and you care about whether or not a moisturizer is gonna break you out, worry no longer, because we have a dot score for that. If you're curious as to see if a cleanser is going to effectively remove makeup, or even if you have a darker skin tone and you're trying to see if sunscreen leaves a white cast or a white film on your skin, we can tell you exactly how much it would leave with a dot score.
People always ask us, why skincare, why us? We have skin too.
Our goal with ShopDot is to turn it into the ultimate shopping experience, where you have certified dermatologists, skincare experts, and even other influencers that we can trust, and have them create high quality information and content that our consumers have so desperately asked for. Our goal is to have consumers who are intimidated and confused about this process just like we were, feel comforted knowing that right before they click buy and spend their hard-earned money, that they're going to get the exact product that is right for them. Thank you, guys.
Amazing job, guys. Judges, what do you think?
My first question is, so how do you make money? What is the business model here?
Currently, as it stands, we have affiliate links integrated within our website. So anytime anybody purchases a product through our website, we get a chunk of the revenue.
Understood. And then how many products do you actually outline on this marketplace?
We've selected 20 to 30 products in the moisturizers, sunscreens, and cleansers verticals. Those are 3 that we've done a lot of research on. And the 20 to 30 are ones that are really popular, trendy, things that people often want to know about, and things that people do shop online for.
And where were you able to get these millions of data points, and how have you been able to make sure that there's not conflicting reviews within these millions of data points?
We get these reviews from really standard, high-quality websites that already sell them. These reviews do conflict a lot of times, which is why we've created the dot score to figure out how much are they conflicting, how are they conflicting, why are they conflicting, and what does that ratio look like in relationship to other products of the exact same category, so we can tell you, hey, this product for this specific quality is this much better than this other product.
It sounds like you're taking in qualitative data, but you're giving a quantitative score.
We use 2 things specifically. They're called natural language processing algorithms. So you're right, you take all this qualitative information and you try to find patterns within them to give them numerical values.
You all humorously pointed out we all have skin. This is an incredibly large marketplace. How are you going to narrow down everyone that has skin into a group of folks that you can reasonably reach?
A lot of our marketing, our focus right now has been the case with darker skin tones, looking for sunscreens that have no white cast. There's really no good way to compare sunscreens on that basis, and that seems to be the strongest pain point that we're able to handle most directly and market to most directly.
So really not demographic based, rather more
need-based.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay.
So how would you use this money?
Specifically, we're looking to add some help on the engineering side so we can continuously develop at a quicker speed, but also to take that money and push it a lot into marketing efforts. Specifically, we're trying to grow our consumer base and then also take that and leverage it into growing our creator base, the people who we're trying to get to create content and put it on our website.
Nice, nice.
Amazing job, ShopDot. Up next, we have Cubicle. Let's check out your time with Britwing.
How are you planning on presenting this game, during your pitch? Gonna do a round or a practice round of it, or what is your plan?
We don't feel as though that there's enough time to really show off the entire game, so we do decide to give a quick summary of the game, but most of what differentiates our product isn't necessarily the gameplay, but it's more of the themes, the stories, and the unique mechanics behind it, which are applicable to both the B2B and B2C spaces as well. How should we talk about the B2B and B2C spaces? Should we only concentrate on one? What do you recommend?
For any product, even when you're building a digital product, you have different customers and different storylines for how you plan on selling to them. So if you are planning to go B2B and B2C with this, I would have a persona where you say, hey, this is Susie from XYZ company. She's introduced Cubicle to the team, and this is how it's improved employee retention or employee interaction. And then I would have a separate persona where it's, hey, this is Tom. Tom on a Friday night has chosen not to go party and drink, instead has chosen to invite his friends for Cubicle, and this has brought his friend group together. I think one of the benefits with what you guys are presenting is it's very fun, it's interactive. My recommendation to y'all is to bring that same energy, because investors really see the passion behind what you're doing, and I think it's very clear this is something y'all are passionate about.
Perfect.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck to you guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
My name is Daniel, and I hate my coworker.
My name is Phil, and I also hate my coworker.
That's why we built Cubicle, an improvisational party game that you can play not only at the workplace, but also at home. Over 32% of current employees feel as though they're disengaged or lonely while at work. That's why we've built Cubicle to be for 4 to 10 players and containing over 4 different unique card mechanics, including one-on-one improv battles, as well as team building activities that everybody can participate in. Cubicle has over 250 cards, so no 2 games are ever alike.
The unique thing about Cubicle is we have a competitive advantage in both the B2B and B2C markets. Within the B2C market, we know that the global tabletop games market is expected to grow to over $30 billion within the next 4 years. One of the holes in the market that we found, however, was a game that offers improvisational and workplace-related mechanics while also being engaging and fun at the same time.
Cubicle is not only efficient for the workplace, but also extremely affordable for all teams as well. Cubicle replaces traditional things like in-house icebreakers, as well as very expensive third-party team building workshops. The cool thing about Cubicle is that it's not only applicable to teams who are in-house, but also teams who are virtual. Across the past 2 years, we've playtested Cubicle over 500 different times, including in both the B2B and B2C spaces with 2 different companies to date.
Within the B2B space, we've seen exceptional support from employees and companies alike for Cubicle. On top of that, within the B2B space, we hope to track the metrics for Cubicle using employee net promoter and engagement scores to see the effect it has on the workplace. Thank you.
Amazing work, Cubicle. Judges?
Why the focus on B2B?
Cubicle actually has a niche in the market where all of the themes that you find within Cubicle are things that all the employees will be discussing day to day anyways.
I just want to push you to think that it might be easier to just go for the business to consumer than start off with the B2B, because I think consumers are just used to looking for fun things to play.
For sure, and that's our first step in the success of Cubicle. We know that we will be able to sell it to consumers who are looking for that niche party game that makes fun of their 9-to-5 job already.
Right.
And that's why we're targeting consumers first, and then we're looking to move to the B2B side.
So I think it's actually quite smart that you have the B2B and the B2C angle, because it makes sense that you have this niche. What I'm a little bit more confused about is the need to have both the digital game and then also a physical game.
Right, so we designed the virtual version of Cubicle to be for virtual teams and teams that are remote. As more and more teams are starting to go virtual and introducing that hybrid option, we felt as though that's another niche that we could be able to fill, since there are now so many teams that are looking to go remote.
We've got excellent feedback from both the physical and the digital copies. We found the digital version to be more applicable to companies, just because more and more companies these days are doing remote work, whereas the physical copy we found huge success within the B2C market.
If you were to win the seed money, where would you be putting these funds to use?
So one of the things is the customer acquisition and getting more customers on board. And also in the future, that's going to help cover costs related to manufacturing so we can get those units out to customers.
Lord knows we need some more fun.
Nice job, nice job.
Good job, guys.
Thank you, Daniel and Phil. That was amazing. We're going to have you go join the other teams in the holding room. All right, judges, what do you think?
I really like the clinical partners. When I think about the total addressable market, it's scalable, the revenue is there. She said it's a $600 billion market now, going to $1 trillion. And by her having academic credentials and a PhD in psychology, it sounds to me like she knows what she's talking about.
And the possible impact. I mean, when you look at the scope of the problem, and I've never had thought about how that delay is really impacting it, right?
I thought it was very impressive the way she was able to respond to the questions. One thing that I was a little bit concerned about was the technical side of this, but I do think that, she said that when it comes to using the funds, she's aware that, that is something that she needs to be able to add on to the team. So I think she knows exactly what she's doing, and like you said, with a PhD background, makes a good fit for the job. What impressed me the most was the pitch with ShopDot. I think the guys came in very well rehearsed, which is a large part of it. Being able to sell the story, and their product looks pretty impressive. They were able to answer the questions that we asked. I don't know what the competition in the market looks like, and probably a smaller TAM.
Everyone's got skin in the game.
That was great. That was a great part of it.
Really.
Also, for the Cubicle guys, I think I liked the energy that they brought in, and I thought it was an interesting idea. But as an employer, which I think you guys can agree on, I'm not sure how much time I'm spending with the team to play a cards game.
For a younger demographic working in, say, tech companies, that may be something that, and everybody's working remote, this may be a way to break up the monotony of the day and build some esprit de corps in the company.
Well, I do think that idea of camaraderie and teamwork is important, and I'm impressed with what they got, but I'm just not sure that it's in the cards for Cubicle for me.
All right, guys, I think we've come to a decision.
Yeah,
Feel good?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Let's bring out the contestants. The winner of this week's seed money is Leah with Clinical Partners.
I am over the moon. I am so thrilled with gratitude for the judges, for the show, for this opportunity. I'm hoping people understand with social impact, you can do good and do well. And I think this business concept strikes that sweet spot. And I think we're gonna be able to help a lot of people and have a really viable, strong, robust business. And I can't wait to use this money to progress my project to the next level.